Welcome back once again. It's been a little bit. At the time of writing this, it's been just under 2 weeks since I uploaded the Halo video, and honestly, I'm kind of astonished in the fact that I finished it and the reception it got. Granted, my thesis was almost non-existent and my points were written mission to mission, so there were references that I never ended up following up. But regardless though, the amount of encouraging words I got were astronomical. I'm really grateful to everyone who toughed it out and experienced that journey along with me, both in its creation and its viewing. But after 2 weeks, I'll be totally honest with you, I don't really think I can go into Halo CE in the exact same way that I did with Reach. Not because I don't like Halo, but because Halo CE's narrative, unless you take it in with the development cycle, there's not really much else going on for it, at least sequentially. Halo CE's story was a more or less just kind of a surface level narrative. Halo 2 was a lot richer, but a lot of the things that they set up in that one weren't really resolved in Halo 3. So Halo 4 would be a good setting off point, but I have later plans for that one, so I'm gonna do a bit more research. It made a bit of sense considering I experienced Halo 4 immediately after Reach, but to make such a large skip from the beginning to the end was so daunting I couldn't find the exact way to do it justice. So the idea of taking on such a monumental task was honestly just exhausting to think about, and I thought it would be good to take a break for a minute. And not long after the video went up, I thought it would be cool to pop open some old titles that I've been sitting on for too long. And originally, I thought I was going to do one on the Metro series, but due to recent events, I thought it would be a bit weird, so I'm going to refrain for that for the time being. And instead, I'll go to one that's in a very similar vein.
Gentlemen, welcome to Dubai.
I remember watching the trailers for this as a kid, but back in the day I was more of a sci-fi kid than one who was into modern shooters, so it ended up just slipping under my radar. And clearly I'm not the only one, considering that only one of my friends has even played this game at all. So when I saw it was only for $6, I was like, meh, why not? But what came next was something I could have never prepared for. I originally sat down to play this game for just a quick little minute before I went to bed, and by the time I had realized it, it was 4 in the morning, I was drenched in tears, and my understanding of what this genre could be was completely turned upside down. As it turns out, this story is based off a novella by Joseph Conrad called Heart of Darkness, a story about a man who goes up the river to try to find his old captive. However, this game not only takes sources from that, but bases itself off of its own interpretation of Apocalypse Now, which is an interpretation of that exact same book, but put into the era of Vietnam, which was very recent at the time of its release.
How come all you guys sit on your helmet? You don't get a ball blown off!
Apparently this movie went through a bunch of development hell, which makes it its own interesting topic, but I'm not here to talk about that because I know nothing about film. What I did learn from studying all this is that both of these topics are very interesting in how they portray soldiers, not as a pro-war sentiment, but as just the reality of everything in front of you. I mean, granted, you're not going to be mowing down enemies in real life, but it definitely shows you the consequences of your actions in a way that no other game really has up to this point quite as well as Spec Ops did. So, for the next however long this ends up taking, sit back, relax, and come with me as we appreciate the narrative of yet another cult classic. Welcome to Spec Ops: The Line.
See you want to see him.